Howdy folks, welcome back to Tire Roaster's Garage. Today we're pulling the diff out of the 2003 SVT Cobra Terminator Mustang. How many words can you fit into a car's title, right? Yeah, so it's got a diff leak, and the only way to seal these diffs is to pull them out of the car and do it on the bench. So I'm gonna rip this diff out, we're gonna have a good time. Good time! So the first thing you're going to do to remove the diff in your Cobra is you're going to put the car up in the air and then you're going to remove the rear tires. I like to throw my lug nuts back on so I don't lose them and they're not in the way making a mess somewhere else. That's an awfully big set of tires for a guy with such a small penis. So the first thing you're going to want to do once you're under here is you're going to want to remove these two bolts that hold the tie rod end to the spindle. And you're gonna do that with a 13mm socket and a 15mm box end wrench. You're probably also gonna wanna wipe off the oil that's dripping from your diff so it doesn't drip in your mouth. I know we all like the tasty gear oil once in a while, but we gotta limit ourselves because Mama says so. Can't be drinking that stuff for lunch, little Jimmy. You know, it's a lot less hassle removing one of these than it is a full straight axle, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's a little more componentry in a sense, but it's a lot lighter. All right, I ain't playing around no more. You playing games with me, boss? My life is breezy, simple. Now when you pull this tie rod end out of here, there's a little spacer on the top. Don't lose that now. Same with the other side. There's a little spacer on the top here. Right on the top. Now your second step is going to be to remove these ABS sensors on either side of the diff. And the way you're going to do that is with a T40 Torx bit. Now you're going to take your time with these and be very careful because if you go in on an angle or you don't have the socket seated in there properly, it will strip these out very easily. So tread lightly with these. Don't screw around. I cracked it loose off camera because like I said, you got to make sure you do it really straight and carefully, or else it won't come off. So once your sensors are unbolted, they'll just kind of hang here. So I took the bolt out and then I threaded it back in the side here so I don't lose it. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to remove the 4 bolts that connect your drive shaft to the differential. And you're going to do that using a 12.12mm socket, or you're going to use just a regular old box end wrench, which is my preferred method because it allows you to get a little more torque on her by double wrenching her. Now you're going to want to make sure it's in gear and the e-brake's on. Easier to get your ratchet wrench on there and take them out. Keep your knuckle busters on though because some of these are real tight and you'll smash your knuckle into here on the muffler or something. Don't know if that's where your muffler is, that's where mine is because I have a side axle exhaust. Cook's long tube headers, flow into these flow masters, kick them out the sides. Alright, now that you've got your 2 bolts out, you pop the car in neutral, take the e-brake off, and you can freely rotate the drive shaft around. Now that you've got them drive shaft bolts out, you take your handy dandy pry bar and you wedge her up in there and give her some leverage, pop her loose, and you just let her hang out. So yeah, in my case, I can just rest it on the mufflers. Your car, you probably take the whole exhaust off, so you just strap her up like that, because if you don't, and you end up deciding to pull the drive shaft right out of the end of the transmission, it will leak oil all over the place. So you're better off just tying it up with a ratchet strap or a bungee cord or something of that nature. Now you're gonna wanna come over to your wheel side, get yourself 2 half-inch ratchets with 18mm sockets on them. And you're gonna wanna remove this top spindle bolt. It's gonna be a little tight, but you know, on a low mile car, pretty mint. Why it's nice to have a low mile car, I guess. Not those ones that have seen the Canadian salt winters and bullshit where everything's rusted. I won't touch it like that anymore. Look how clean this car is, seriously. She's mint. She's like a brand new automobile. Probably the cleanest thing I own. So keep your nut well engaged on the threads here, flush with the end of the bolt, and take a hammer and just start tapping her just lightly. She'll come. She'll come. And then when you want to pull the bolt out, simply take the nut off and apply pressure to the bottom of the spindle assembly and then use your other hand to pull this bolt right out. Actually, you don't even need to. Look at me giving advice that I don't need to give and shit. You're also going to want to crack this bottom bolt, which is the same 18mm combo. So you can just pull that out a little bit out like this, give it some room. So once those two bolts are undone, you'll come underneath here and you'll pry this half shaft away from the diff. And then you can pull this assembly out and out of the way. This way here you don't have to break this 32mm nut, which can be kind of a hooer. Now that you have these two bolts out and you're able to pull your spindle back, you're going to want to let it rest on the half shaft on the lower A-arm here, but you don't want to put any stress on this brake line. So once again, don't put any stress on this brake line or you may tear it. And so you repeat this exact same process for this other side, and then we'll move on to the next step. So the next thing you're going to want to do while you're under here is, see this brace that holds the diff? You're going to want to undo this one and this nut and bolt here. Then you're going to want to undo the outside side ones over here that run over to the actual subframe itself. The bolt head is a 22mm socket, and the nut is a 15/16 wrench. So you want to get those out, but you don't want to pull them all the way out. You just want to get them so they're just sitting there and still holding the assembly. Then you want to remove these two. These two here are a 15mm socket on the bottom on the bolt. Then on the top, it's a 18mm box end wrench. Then you'll want to remove the diff cover bolts. These are 15mm. You remove the top one, then you get the bottom one about halfway out. And don't take this out and don't take those out yet till you get your transmission jack underneath of the differential to support it so it doesn't fall on your head. Now you can lift this thing out by hand, but it's a hell of a lot easier with a transmission jack. So I'm gonna get these bolts out, get the transmission jack under here, and drop this whole assembly out of here. So I got the diff lowered down, pull it out from underneath here. Get this diff up on the bench, pull this cover off, and get the new Ford Performance girdle on there. And now I'm going to drain this thing, get the cover off it, clean the mating surface, and get the new Ford Racing girdle on it. Oh buddy, that's some dirty oil coming out of there. Look at that. Alright, so the diff's back in the Cobra, and we're ready to take her for the first drive, and pray to God she doesn't leak any fluid. Let's roll. So I'm going to put this thing on so the thing doesn't scream at me. And so I'm safe, and I'm a good role model for your kids. Apparently that's what Tire Roaster's garage is supposed to be if you read some of the comments I get. You know, my kids would watch this video if you just quit swearing. So hopefully this thing doesn't develop a leak. So she's rolled over 30,000 miles finally. I bought it with 28,000 miles. And last summer I put on around 2,000 miles, so it's over the 30 mark. She's old and used just like me. I'll tell you, man, the IRS in these cars, noticeable difference. I used to be one of those guys that always chirped Cobras. Like, I always dreamed of having one, but I always chirped them. I always chirped the Cobras. I was like, oh yeah, it's an SN95 with IRS and a blower. Cool. And it is. It really is. I mean, like, everything in here is fairly standard. You know, Ford F-150 AC switches, steering wheel, just says Cobra on the wheel. The seats are special, they're cool. The gauge cluster, the Tremec T56, and the IRS blower. That's about it, really. Rear seats, I guess, are kind of cool. That's pretty much an SN95. Down the road, whip her around, head back, see if we got any leaks happening. Would rather not find out a couple 100 miles in. You know, I'm not the hugest fan of the side exit exhaust on this thing, but it does sound good. It has a bit of a Chewbacca growl if you give it too much throttle in the wrong spot in the RPM range, around 2,300, almost like a 6-liter Ford diesel. A little bit of that, and it's like, yeah, I could live without it, but you know, that's what happens when you do a side exit exhaust through Flowmaster on one of these. These cars sound the best with the exhaust out the back, with a set of like Borlas or something on it, right? Like, that's when these cars sound like fucking mint. But this, I didn't build it, I bought it this way. And I can live with it for now, because I am selling the car. If you would like to buy it, You know where to find me, here on Tire Roasters Garage. Oh my God. That's the top of second gear coming out of a bend and trying to get it to go straight, and it just walks out sideways, like, at 80 kilometers an hour. It's like, it is honestly, this car is the epitome of too much. And some guys are like, oh, I got 1,000 horsepower. You think your car's too much? Once again, not about the barbaric ego stuff, but in all reality, an unbalanced car that has more horsepower than it does chassis to sustain said horsepower, to me, is fairly useless. I like a well-balanced performance machine. This thing's all engine and all roast. It's just roasting the tires for miles. Now, you've seen my face back there. Absolutely a blast, like a great time to go sideways at a high speed. But as far as the car being balanced, it's not. It's useless in that sense, as a race car. But, you know, it's useful in putting a smile on my face and roasting the tires, which some people only want just that. And you know, rewind me, I don't know, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have been more than satisfied to spin the tires for 6 miles. But as I get older, I like a more refined machine, one that is more purpose-built than something that just roasts the tires for 18 miles and, you know, is only useless in a roll race scenario. Which is what all these guys are into these days. And I'm not knocking roll racing. It's a fun thing to do. But when guys are on the internet talking shit, and then they go and they race on the highway and they do a roll race, it's like, well, you're starting the race at 120 kilometers an hour. To me, that's not that impressive. It's just a battle of who put more horsepower into their car and who can run out the straight line the quickest from a roll. Like, it's not really measuring much. I just gotta wash the car quickly, so give me a second. Okay, so I looked underneath the car and there's a slight leak in the diff. Let's get her home and see what it is. But I sealed that diff up right, so I think the leak's coming from the vent. Alright, rolling back up to the house. Looks like we got some company. Some bikers. Howdy, folks. We got some bikers here today. Man, these chicks ride like nerds, dude. Oh, Whitney likes to rip the Triumph, apparently. Let's get back into it. Boom. So we ended up having a leak in the diff. It's dripping out of the overflow. I was scared shitless when I looked underneath. I'm like, oh, oil. I'm like, it's probably the overflow, because I remember filling it just a little more than I needed to, because I knew that would happen if it had a bit too much fluid in it. Then it happened, and I still freaked the f out. Got underneath there, I'm like, ah, we're good. Cleaned it all with some brake cleaner, and she's good to go. And with that being said, thanks for watching this video. If you got any value out of my content today, you smash that like button, leave a comment saying what a goof I am, and maybe post a picture of your favorite chinchilla. We'll catch you on the next episode of Tire Roasters Garage. And spoiler alert, it has to do with that car. Boom! Now, before I wrap this video up, I want to leave you guys with a link to this guy's channel. When I was installing the diff, I found his videos very helpful. There's one video on the proper orientation of the shims on the back of the diff and the brace. Because I wasn't paying attention when I took it off. He has so many videos showing each individual process, like pulling out the diff, rebuilding the diff, even what hardware to use, and then reinstalling said diff. So, very helpful channel. Go check him out, subscribe to his channel. Guys like that are beauties.